It's always so for me.
Oh.
I like to make it that way. Then that way it's special. Okay, Sarah, how are you today?
I'm fabulous. I
Great.
feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, after we're here for a minute, people might notice that Nereyda isn't here.
Yeah.
And so
It's just
she
us.
might be here later, but it just depends on how her schedule works.
Right.
Anyway, so so I asked if it was okay if I like come on and like share the stage, I guess, with you, or the corner with you.
Yeah.
Right? And she was like, yeah, dude, do that. So that
Yes.
was kind of cool.
Yes. I'm
So
happy.
is there a particular subject that you guys have been like wanting to explore that has like different things? Or maybe like, you know, if there's somebody already commenting, I have like somebody who made a comment already in YouTube. Took me a minute to put 2 and 2 together. Let me be present. Hold on. Okay. So 2050. Got it. Okay. Anyway, there's somebody who put a heart there. So if you would like to ask a question, we could go ahead and answer your question to the best of our ability through like our experience.
Yes.
And we'll tell you what it is that we did, so that way it helped us.
Yep.
But we'll try to tune in and give you maybe more than just that as possibilities. All right.
Yes.
So I think that today I'm going to pick a subject. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How about if I'm going to draw a rune? Is that all right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to draw a rune. This is the book of the runes, and I'm being led to pull from that bag. Okay. Anyway, so this will be our subject. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Nereyda says, yeah, lay down some of that spiritual relationship. I'm like, oh, thanks.
I have my card here.
Naturally. Oh, really? Okay. So how about if we do both? Okay.
We can.
How about if we do both? Yes. And this will be our subject matter for the day. And I love that. Okay. So go ahead. Shuffle away, girl. Shuffle away. And then when you're ready to go ahead and pull a card, this will be our, well, we have to premise it first. So the rune will be what we're working on. And the card that you pull will be what we read to in possibility for the individual.
Yes. Perfect. Love it.
All right. Okay. Oh, wow. This is like okay. This is good. Okay. So I guess I'll just grab I like that one right there. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I have my rune.
Okay. I got my card.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this rune that I have, do you want to, oh yeah, so we'll go first, right? So this rune that I have, right, is called Ewaz, okay? And Ewaz doesn't have a reverse on it, okay? And so I'll hold it up. They told me to pull the hematite one, okay? And the hematite one looks like this. Let me see if I could draw it. But yeah, isn't that cool? Yep. So that's what the sigil looks like. And it means defense.
Okay.
Okay. And so I have like a little reading, if that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Read it.
Okay. I like to read about things. Okay. Defense. Oh, okay. So here's the subject. This is the subject. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, and then the possibilities, most likely because of the subject, then we'll determine what kind of possibilities we're reading to. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Sounds
so
good.
As we are tested, we fund the power to avert blockage and defeat. We're going to speak to flow today. I could tell. Okay. At the same time, we develop in ourselves an aversion to the conduct that creates stress in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
If there appears to be an obstacle in your path, consider that even a delay may prove beneficial. Do not be overly eager to press forward, for this is not a time or situation in which you can make your influence felt. Patience is the counsel Ewaz offers. Nothing hectic, no acting needy or lusting after a desired outcome. This room speaks to the difficulties that can arise at the beginning of a new life. Often, it announces a time of waiting, for a spring to fill up with water, for fruit to ripen on the bough. Perseverance and foresight are called for here. The ability to foresee consequences before you act is a mark of the profound person. Avert anticipated difficulties through right action, this rune is saying. And yet, even more than we are doers, we are deciders. Oh, I love that part, right?
Yes.
It says, once decision is clear, the doing becomes effortless, for then the universe supports and empowers our action. Receiving Awas, you're put on notice that through inconvenience and discomfort, growth is promoted. This may well be a trying time. Certainly, it is a meaningful one. So set your house in order, tend to business, be clear, and wait on the will of heaven. Ooh, so a lot of patience to be employed right now, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right. So, what do you do when, like, I learned a long time ago, like, not to pray for patience. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise, you get things that help you learn to be patient, and you have to practice it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I figured out that like it was easier just to practice patience right off the bat.
Right.
And so I started doing that, and that seemed to go pretty well. So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. How you taught me with working with energy, and I feel this rune very much so, because I feel like, when you are in the right alignment for yourself, and like what is in the right alignment in what's going on around you with that energy alignment, then things are going to flow
You're
better.
talking about your relationship to all things. Yes.
Relationship to all things. Yes. So if you're I feel like if you're forcing something to happen when you're not in the right energy alignment for it, then it's not going to come to fruition, it's not going to flow like it needs to. You're kind of forcing it to do that. So you're right. Like the patience, it's just getting yourself in the right alignment for whatever you want, for what you're trying to achieve. So it's funny because I was doing the dishes today, and I was thinking about today. I wasn't sure what we were specifically going to be talking about. And what kept popping into my head was clean house. Clean house. Not literally clean house like the toilet, but it could be, I guess. But it was clean house. And it could be clean house in your in your surroundings, or clean house in your mind. So
Right.
what works for me, because I think this is so funny how all this is kind of in the same mindset. I feel the right alignment, the right energy. So we were meant to talk about this right now.
Exactly.
But what always worked for me to get me from point A to point B with more fluidity, so I don't feel so like, and I'm forcing something to happen, and it just doesn't happen the way that I anticipated, or I felt like there was more friction with it.
Okay.
I clean house in my mind, and I clean house. Sometimes if I physically clean house, like I clear my space, physically clear my space, like the spring cleaning kind of stuff. I feel
Yes.
like I'm walking into my home with just more of a clear head. A clear head. Like I feel like, okay, all my past shit that I've had from my past, that's just kind of sitting there and just hanging around, and I haven't done anything with it, and it's not doing me any good purpose. I feel like I need to get rid of it so I can make room for something that's going to be in my benefit to help me.
Something fruitful?
Something that's going to take its place, but it's going to do me a service. So I do a lot of cleaning house physically. I like to clear my space because I want everything to be in my alignment to help me so I can walk through feeling clear-headed, but also clean house in my mind too. So the card that I picked was the Six of Swords, which is a mind. So it's an air sign, so for the mind. And there's the waters right here, the choppy waters. You're moving away from choppy waters, and you're moving into a clear waters and clean, like smoother sailing waters.
Right.
So, and the 5 is chaos. This is 6. So you're getting out of the chaos and you're moving into the clear space. So it's kind of funny how we're talking about this right now, because that's what I do. To clean house, to clean my chaos mind, I have to clean my space. So this clears my head, so I'm able to focus more on what's going to benefit me, what's going to help me move with more fluidity, so I can keep taking those steps forward. And they're going to be easier steps as opposed to a lot of friction as I'm going on my life. So my head feels clear for me to move forward. and have more fluidity. So that makes perfect sense. And it makes sense for when I was doing dishes today and I kept hearing clean house, clean house. And I'm like, what does that mean? Oh, that's what that means. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Spirit. Like that's what you're talking about.
That's
Clean
it.
house, clean your
That's
space.
it right there. Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I snapped too hard.
So
Okay.
that's
Well,
how I
I
do it.
went ahead and I put up there that if you're just joining, our subject today is our relationship to everything in our life.
Yes.
And mostly that's our mind, right?
Yes. That's
Okay,
huge.
so it's how
Yes.
we, well, yeah, it's shared. First, it's shared space,
Mhm.
right? So we share, like you and I, we're sharing space now, but there's still space that's being shared between everything. So it's how we perceive our space and whether or not we're able to feel safe and feel and sense, right? And know that we're safe in a
Yeah.
space. And when we have that information, we behave differently in that space. When it doesn't seem as though it is a safe space that we're in, then we will usually vacate, like wherever it's at. But we're not even talking about that. We're talking about our mind. And sometimes it isn't safe to think some of the things that we do because it brings about some despair. Despair is like a really big thing. And I think that we don't spend a lot of time with our relationship to despair, understanding it, like why we go into despair and create disparity in our life. And our relationship to ourself, all right, is based on how we articulate our experience, right? So if we're articulating our experience to ourselves in a maybe not an abundant way, maybe not in a uplifting way, but it is as it is, then it will naturally stay as it is. Yet the recognition that you're giving it is going to bring about more of that same experience.
Yes.
Okay, because you're laying down a layer of acknowledgement, which is energy. And when you lay that down, it's like an energetic signature to something. And not knowing why you are not going within, right? Because like sometimes people don't know that it's a good thing to do that, to go within and find out what's triggering or bothering you. And then ask yourself if you can hold space for yourself before you do anything, right? Because maybe now's not the time. But if I notice it, right? If you notice it, then you can just kind of sit with it, right? And then go, oh, okay, I'll give myself a little bit of time after work, or maybe I'll do this. And then you can really just let go of it. Because usually that's what happens when we're out and we're in interaction with others. Is that we've been thinking something for a period of time and then they have a different thought. And so when their thought comes towards our thought, we're a little resistant because we have a thought that's a little bit it's not exactly aligned. It's kind of like this. We were drawn together because we're in a big flow. But then when we get here, it's kind of like that. So being really clear in your energy field, being really clear in your energy field. See, I'm not used to being on Tuesday, so I have my phone on and I have like all kinds of. I love you, Sarah. Thank you. Anyway, enough about energy, right? But that's for me, it is like I didn't set my camera very, very steady, but I don't care. I'm good.
Mine's all over the place too.
Oh, really?
I'm on a pillow.
Okay, let me ask you a question then, okay? Because like we were talking about, like I got into like that channel aspect, right? And when I get into that channel aspect, it's difficult for me to pull out, and I appreciate you giving me the floor, but I still want your input in the subject, right? So when it comes to like this particular subject and the energy and how we're trying to perceive clarity, what do you do? What are some of the practices that you have that allow you to turn it back to what's important to you?
When I'm going through something, like something specific that's like hard, I'm kind of working through something. Is that what you're meaning? Sometimes
It doesn't matter. It could be something really easy.
Yeah. I mean, what I've done, what's helped me is that I like to take some time before reacting, before using my energy and like reacting about something. I go, hey, how am I learning from this? What am I being taught? What's happening here? What's going on? Why is this person saying this to me? Instead of reacting to it so quickly, I go, why are they saying this to me? Is there a reason why I need to hear this? I try to process it a little bit more. Everybody wants you today.
I did energetically open the gate and say,
Yeah.
yes, I am available. So hold on. It won't stop until I do. Let's see.
She's coming back.
I am coming back. You go ahead.
Okay, so what I was saying is that the things that I do to help myself during any kind of energetic connection, it could be with a person, it could be positive, it could be negative. I just try to remind myself there's a reason for this connection. I'm learning something from it. So instead of just being so reactive to it, I try to put myself in a spot of how am I going to present myself, or how am I going to help? Like if I'm talking to them and I want to get my point across, I'm trying to put myself in their thought process so I can connect with them in more of the same energetic like level. So I'm not just reacting, I'm not just saying whatever, and then that's going to cause us, I feel, to kind of distance. So I try to acknowledge what's happening and what am I learning from this particular thing. It could be an action, it could be a being talked about thing.
So I have another question. It spurred another question.
Yes.
So you're talking about your solution. I appreciate your solution, but how do you find yourself there and know that this isn't where you want to be? Like, how do you know? Because a lot of times we're in such a space that it feels so familiar that we don't know that, like when does that aha really show up for you?
Like if I'm in a space that I'm not comfortable with, if that's what you mean?
Yeah.
I don't usually know. Well, because I feel uncomfortable. I feel like this is not good for me. Like it's not, I tell myself that anybody that I now am going to be bringing into my life is going to be an addition to my life. I want them to add to my life. I don't want to feel like I'm being something I have to chip away at my soul or remove something from a piece of me to give to someone else. You could feel that. I could feel when I feel chipped away at. It could be someone could be telling me say something to me and I just feel, ugh, like that doesn't feel right to me. That's not the kind of person or energy that I want in my life. And so I'm really working on just closing my space off a little bit. So not closing my space, but just only allowing the people or the energies that are going to uplift me, as opposed to allowing things, people to bring me down.
Something other than that.
Yeah,
it's really strong here. Here's what's really strong that I'm noticing is that you have a very strong intention. And in that intention, you don't have like this wobble. Well, if this should happen, then maybe that won't happen. It's like you're very direct about that. But how did you get there? Because like that has to take a lot of practice, right? And focus. And like, how did you
I went through it.
Oh,
I went through it too many times. The universe was throwing so much bullshit in my face, and I didn't figure it out until it was literally slapped in my face. And then finally I'm like, oh, okay.
All right.
I'm causing my own detriments. I'm causing my own problems. I'm doing
Isn't that wild?
All of these energies to come in that isn't for my best interest. They're not doing me any good. They're hurting me. I feel like it's making me like feeling low.
Right. So would you say that everybody has their aha when they're ready?
Yeah, I think it's when they're ready. I wasn't ready yet. I had to go through 2 divorces and all this other stuff, which is okay. Not everybody goes through that, because a lot of people have to go through other things that aren't so crazy, but I couldn't figure it out. I was so okay, the people pleaser mindset. I just allowed, okay, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I'll just do whatever they say, whatever they want. Oh, they want to do that, but I don't really want to, but I'll do it anyway. Whatever. It's okay, but it really isn't okay. I don't feel okay, but I still do it. That's when our energies are in alignment. are not in alignment. I feel like I'm off, like they're off from mine. I
You know
still
what I noticed? You know what I noticed was that I was doing a lot of people pleasing when I wanted to get something done. So
yeah.
it was like I just wanted to get whatever it was that was in front of me out of the way. So I would just like, throw something at it, or whatever it was that I needed to take place so that I could get to what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it really becomes a big habit because you start to absorb everybody's energy,
Yes.
right? And then you try to manage that energy, and they're resistant to the management of the energy. And if you don't realize that that's what you've done, then your whole field, like your energetic experience becomes super draining,
Yeah.
like super duper draining. And
I have
then,
learned to say no. I like that word. I tell people no all the time. I'm not a bitch about it, but I'm okay with that now. Because it's
that's
not
good.
in my energy alignment. It's not working for me. And if I'm half of me, then I can't be for everybody else. I like
Yeah.
me now. So
Right.
I'm okay to say no, not going to work for me. Or removing people from my life that maybe has been in my life for a long time. And if they're still chipping away at me, I'm
Mhm.
okay with removing them because it's not going to do me any service for later. I mean, not that I'm like, oh, I need it to benefit me only, but if I'm not going to be in the
If
same
you're
energy
seeing, if
alignment,
you're in a relationship, if
yeah,
you're in a right now relationship to where you're interacting with the individual, because sometimes you can choose to have friendships to be fondly remembered or fondly looked upon without, having interaction. All
yes,
right. And you just have a communication, and you decide that, and you say, okay, so I think that this is where our friendship is right now, and I'm okay with that, and that's good. But now that's if somebody's interacting with you in that moment. Let's say they're not interacting with you in that moment, right? And you start to maybe think about them. And so
hmm,
you reach out to them, but they're unavailable. Then you're going to start to feel some kind of way. And really, the reason that you're feeling that kind of way is because it's relationship with you.
yeah,
All right. Why are you feeling that way? It has nothing to do with them, nothing to do with them, whoever it is that you're trying to reach out to, whoever it is that you're trying to get to come into your rabbit hole. Right.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I used to be that way. I used to be that way where I used to be very much like, "Oh, how come they're not communicating with me? What happened to me? Like, what are they mad at me?" I don't care anymore because I know I didn't do anything. Like, really, I did for me, and I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not doing anything purposefully to piss anybody off, like I've said before many times. So I go, if they're not reaching out to me or if the connection's not there, then it just wasn't meant to be anymore. We're not on the same alignment. Me any service. I used to not be that way. I used to be like, "Oh, I want everyone to
I
like."
was very obsessive. I was very obsessive over any ending of a relationship.
Yeah.
And I would like, and even though I knew I was like, I was ending it or the individual was ending it with me. If it was a romantic relationship, a friendship, an association, a coworker situation, it didn't matter. I would internalize it and kind of say, oh, it's because of me. And it's because I had abandonment issues. So I still do. So, they don't go away. It's part of me. I went through that. So that's going to be part of who I am. That's
Right.
part of my experience. That's what allows us to think differently and have, nuanced
Yeah.
experiences. And so that's, yeah. Sorry. So abandonment was my thing. I work on that on a regular basis. And sometimes I just want it to be gone, but it's part of me. And the more that I come to, there's a comment. Do you see the comment? Thank you. Ooh.
How do we spruce up relationships with everything when things are just okay and we want to make them great? Well, everything can always be better, right? I'm kind of in that right now, actually. I'm in a really comfortable place with myself and just with everything around me. I feel like I did a lot of work on my life, and it got me to a really comfortable ease place. And yeah, I've actually thought about that question myself just recently. Like, I want to break through and go up higher, right? Like, I want more. I want more zhuzh in my life, right? Um, how
Yeah.
do what? What'd you say? I heard you back there.
I got it.
Oh, okay. Good. She's coming back. Um,
No, it came in from the show.
okay. You better?
Yeah, it came in from the show. Okay, so I I'm better.
Okay, good.
Maybe I'm just not used to talking.
That's okay. I have just a couple more minutes and I got to go because I got to pick up my daughter. But
Perfect.
just about to start with WT Froze said, how do we spruce up
Okay.
relationships with everything when things are just okay and we want to make them great? I was just saying that I was feeling this. I've been feeling the same way recently.
Okay.
I feel like I've done a lot of work. I've got myself to a really great place. I'm really stable and solid. And you just want things to be even better, like just very zhuzhy. That's my word. Just a lot of sparkle, right? Just surpass the comfort, I guess. What do you do? I'm there right now, actually. My journey is in that spot right now with what do you do? I mean, what do you do, Lucinda? I'm asking because that's actually a really good question. I've been thinking that too. Like, I feel really good, but like I know that there's always going to be more. And I did pull a card today and I got the 8 of Wands. So things are going to be coming. They're coming, like the 8 of Wands. Things are going to be coming and it's going to be coming fast. And so I just feel like I don't know what, I'm doing some manifesting on my own. I don't know. I'm just working on myself. I don't know. What would you do? What would you do?
Okay, so first, any relationship has to start with yourself. So you have to figure out what it is that you want, not out of the relationship. What do you want out of life? What do you want out of your experience? Then, if you can come together, all right, with someone who has similar desires and you go into relationship, then you can build from there. If you're already in a relationship, okay, then you're the only one that can decide if it's great or not. And if you don't think it's fucking great, then get the fuck on.
Yeah, that's true. Or so something.
Here's relationships. I'll tell you relationships in a nutshell. All right. Relationships are about duality and behavior. They are not about love. Love is involved in everything and it's a frequency. You can assign it a meaning and you can go ahead and put it into, oh, love is this, love is that. But love is a frequency. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. In that vibe, you're able, okay. Just 1 second.
I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta pick up my daughter.
I'm online. Jeez. Okay. This has been a funny way to do this show, but I hope everybody enjoyed it. So when it comes to relationship, it is duality and behavior. And what you're doing is you're learning the other person's behavior and whether or not you want to accept it, or if you guys can talk about it, because you're creating communication. And the only reason that you're like dissatisfied with something that they're doing is because you're internally in turmoil and you don't want to look at it. So look at that shit, sit with that shit, find out why you're being triggered. The reason you get triggered is because a vibration loosens something that you've been ready to let go. And you can sit through that particular focus and that deep energy, and then you can hold yourself sacred. You can love yourself. The best thing that you could tell yourself when you're holding the charge is, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And you say, you talk to the child that it is, or whoever your inner world person who held that space for you in that moment that let you get to today, right? You hold them sacred and you tell them that they're enough. Every decision that you've ever made is perfect. Everything is perfect because your creation, everything that you think is the very leading edge of everything. Everything that you do, you've never done. You've never been in this, you've never been here, right here in this moment, right now. And in that aspect, everything you do is exactly as it should be. You might pull in contrast because that's what we're used to. So if you're too deep in what you think should happen, you're in expectation. Expectation creates something that hasn't happened yet, and you being in a position of knowledge of lack, and then you move into despair. So disparity between the 2 points because you're holding 2 vibrations. Okay? So let go of the expectation, be where you're at, allow yourself to be where you're at, hold yourself sacred, love you, appreciate you for showing the fuck up, okay? And then, come back to a conversation with the individual. And if you want to do stuff that's fun, then you figure out what you want and you can invite them. Your relationship is interaction, but it's intimacy because you're going to start sharing deeper thoughts and processes with this individual. It's going to create vulnerability. The vulnerability is something that you're working through because you don't share everything with everybody. But the deeper a relationship gets, the more you do share. And you will never know 100% of that individual. So stick around if you like it. And if you don't, figure it out. All right. And so those are my 2 cents today. I love you guys. Have a great day. And thank you, Sarah and Nereyda, for letting me join today. And this has been a really wild relationship corner. Peace.